What's going on, everybody? We live for another edition of No Request TV. Today we got DJ PeeWee out of Miami, Florida. We're gonna go over some things, her career. Here she is right now.
What up? Ah. Let me move this back here. See me.
You good?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How we doing? How we feeling?
Feeling good, feeling good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling blessed. Trying to just keep my head afloat through all this
Yeah,
craziness.
I definitely believe it. I think we're all in agreement with doing that right now. Just trying to find a routine to go through and just trying to make it or take it one day at a time. Speaking
Right.
of, what is like your daily routine during lockdown right now? What are you doing sun up to sundown for the most part?
I've been exercising like for the most part. I've been doing a lot of walking. I probably walk the most I've walked in my entire life.
Hmm.
Um, I have a big ass dog, so he's loving every minute of it.
Of course.
And yeah, I've just been trying to get as active as possible, just working out as much as possible. But that's really like the main stuff. And then I have a lot of like side ventures that I work on. So I'm at home on my computer, just doing that, making beats, just doing things that I really didn't have time for before with the DJing. Like I feel like the DJing was so time consuming, and I
Hmm.
love it, and I can't wait to get back to that. But there was just so many like extra things I wanted to do that I just didn't have time for that now I'm accomplishing. So
Got
I'm
you.
happy.
Yeah, for those that don't know Pee Wee, she is definitely a very, very active DJ down here in the Miami scene and elsewhere too as well. We're going to get into your career. We're going to get into those other ventures that you talked about too as well. But just want to start at the core. Where you're from? Tell people where you're from, where you know, what your upbringing was like, so they can get an idea of who DJ Pee Wee is.
Sure. So I was born in New York. I moved out of New York when I was like 5 or 6 to Jersey. I lived in Jersey till I was 13. Then I moved to Broward County, 954. I
Hmm.
moved to Pines. I moved to Miramar and Pines, but they basically the same thing. So my fundamental years were definitely in Broward. And then I left to Florida State. Um, and I was there for 4 years, and then I moved back, and I've been here in Miami ever since. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm
Okay.
at.
All right. Let's go back to Jersey. Actually, that's where I was born too. I was born in Plainfield, New Jersey. So growing up in
Shut
Jersey,
up! I lived in North Plainfield. I swear
for
to
real?
God.
Wow.
Yes.
So we got a couple more things in common too. I didn't know that, but shout out to Plainfield. But
Right.
so growing up in the household, what was Saturdays time to clean up the house? What was mom and dad playing? What was the family playing? Give an idea of some of the artists that were going on.
Listen, so both my parents, they were born in, so my dad's Puerto Rican, my mom's Colombian. They were both born in their countries, but um, they're from New York. Like, they were raised in New York. So they have that melting pot, that mixture of all cultures in them. So I listen to everything.
Mm,
They put me on basically all the music I know, from Earth, Wind, and Fire to like 70s funk, all that, to old school salsa, to pop, to hip hop. My dad used to bring me bootlegs of 50 Cent, Ja Rule, Ludacris. Like it was
wow.
crazy. Yeah. So like being at home, it was a mixture of all kind of music. I was exposed to a variety. But that Sunday Get Your Ass Up was definitely some on my mom's end.
Yeah.
It was some 80s, some Shalimar, some Madonna.
Beautiful.
She would come in with the vacuum like, let's go, get your ass up.
Yeah. That's a good soundtrack right there. That's a good cleanup soundtrack right there. So,
Right, feel good, right?
yeah, you had a great mixture with your dad bringing you, Who Kid mixtapes, from G Unit and everything back in the day, and then your
Crazy.
mom with that, nice, that New York club scene back in the 70s, 80s, you know what I mean?
Right,
So that's a great mix right there. So let's
right.
fast forward. You said you did mention that you ended up going to Florida State. That's actually where I got my start, was at Florida State, DJing and everything like that.
I
So
feel like I met you. You and I met somewhere that was not Miami.
yeah, we'll probably figure it out by the end of this interview. But
Right.
going to Florida State, were you DJing prior to that, or were you just got into DJing at Florida State in Tallahassee?
So let me we're gonna go back.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
So in high school, all my life, I've been a student athlete. I played basketball and softball. My main focus was basketball. And my junior year, I tore my ACL.
Mm.
And in that injury, I went through a horrible depression. You know, my dad, I hope he's not seeing this, but like my dad, he used to be like, you better get it together because the only thing you know how to do is ball.
Mm.
So figure it out, you know? And I got injured and I felt like my life was over. You know, I was like, what am I going to do? The only thing I aspired to do is to go to school and play college ball. And in that depression, I found music. I've always been a music head, but I ventured into production. I started messing with FL Studio while I was getting my range of motion after my surgery at home. I would be on my computer and I was learning how to make beats, and I grew a passion for production, and I taught myself via YouTube University.
Hey.
And you know, I would read manuals like crazy, and yeah, what have you. So fast forward, I graduated. I went to FSU, and at FSU, you know, I was still producing, but I was having like a difficult time being a producer, a female producer, being that like I was in a lot of situations that were uncomfortable for me. Like I would be at studio sessions, being the only girl, and me being excited, like I'm ready to work, I'm ready to rock, I'm ready, you know, whatever. And there were guys that didn't have the same interests, like they were trying to holler at me, and I've been in a lot of uncomfortable situations. So with that being said, it kind of it made me have like a resentment towards production. Like I still love doing it, but it was like, how am I gonna prosper in this field?
Right.
So I was hitting like a roadblock with that, and then years later, my sophomore year, I believe, or junior year of college, I used to sneak into Dopey and T shows, like all the hip hop shows. I used to sneak in all the time. And a Kendrick Lamar show, I snuck in and ended up meeting the owner of Dopey and T, who's now the owner of Rolling Loud.
Mm-hmm.
I met him, and I met a few others, and you know, I was like, yo, I'm here. I'm sneaking to these shows to show these artists my music. And he was like, yo, fuck that. Why don't you become a DJ? And then by DJing, you know, use that to elevate your production. And I was like, no, like that was like a foreign thought, like never.
Right.
Like I'm not fucking DJing. And then they used to have me open some Dopey and T shows. They would be like, hey, look, practice how to DJ because in a week you're gonna open our show. I was like, what the fuck? And like I kind of got thrown into DJing. So it's crazy because I did, you know, the show or the shows, and I fell in love with it. It was like, okay, like this is for me, you know?
Right.
Something that I wasn't even looking for, I grew an aspiration for. So that's where I'm at. So, you know, I grew that passion, and then in Tallahassee, I was doing some underground parties at a spot called Jet Set Lounge. I was doing like old school 90s, like Brooklyn loft type feel parties that was so foreign in Tallahassee, and it grew a little bit of buzz, not really, but it was cool because I got like my feet wet with the DJing. And
Right.
yeah, so graduating college is when I took DJing serious, but
Gotcha.
that's where I got my DJ start.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, that's all, everything that you talked about there, especially with the being in the studio and being uncomfortable and everything like that. You know, we're definitely going to touch on just being a female in a male-dominated industry, because it's not like DJing is any less male-dominated than production or being in the studio or anything like that. So we're going to talk about those challenges and everything too. So it's very interesting to hear you say that you weren't even interested in DJing, because my next question was, who would your DJ influences be? But do you even have any? Because I've heard you spin
Yeah.
before. And before we touch on that, we have a lot of people that just joined the chat right now. We're here live with DJ PeeWee on No Request TV, going over a career. DJ PeeWee is a very established DJ down here in Miami, Florida, and one of the best DJs, not even just female DJs, just DJs period that
Thank you.
I've definitely heard since I moved down here a year ago. So as far as influences when it comes to DJing, because I've heard you spin before, and it's definitely a very, very exciting style, very quick paced, and
Thank you.
your mic control and everything like that. Who influenced you?
Damn, I have a few influences. So I like the cliche, like Spinderella. Like, she's the shit, man. Like,
Definitely.
I love women who, you know, they prioritize like scratching and like the fundamentals. Like, that's Spinderella, the hands down. I love that. People think of her and they think that she bodies it, you know?
Right.
So her, but I got a lot of inspiration from DJs in Tallahassee. DJ Loose Kid. I used to go to Loose Kid's parties and hear what he would say and hear how he'll freestyle randomly on a song. Like, he plays shit from Future and he goes in on that, and like he made his own lyrics to where he's like, if she got small titties, I'ma suck that shit. A Loose Kid party, and it's like so interactive, and I used to fall in love with how he just had so much control. Like, the minute he was on the mic, the energy shifted, and I always noticed that, and I was like, damn, like, imagine a girl doing that. And I'm a person who, like, with public speaking, that's not my forte. Like, I'm not one that's like, hey, attention on me. But when it comes to like music being like the barrier between me and people,
right,
it was nothing for me to like gain that. And so Loose Kid is definitely a big inspiration. DJ Champ was one of the first people to be like, you know what, little homie, let me show you a little song. Let me teach you the A's and B's of DJing. So shout out to him, and he's awesome. He used to kill it in Tallahassee. Now he ventured off into corporate world, but man, he was fire. And then fast forward, I met DJ Live with a Y. He's taught me so much. He's another one that like, will critique me, and he'll be like, yo, you got to do this and that, and like your voice, you're a female, so when you elevate your voice, you gotta put bass in it, because when you go up, you're high pitched, and whatever. So his style of DJing, I learned a lot from him. DJ Fly Guy too, that's my guy. I learned so much from him as well. So those are definitely my inspirations, and I got to at least be within arm's reach of these people.
Right.
So definitely those few.
All that is very important. I think, especially whether you're a female or male, just DJing, trying to find your voice. And I come from a club background, but also been on tour, in arenas and stuff. You can't, like you said, you can't speak from up here. You got to speak from your diaphragm. You got to speak from your gut in order to get your point across to thousands of people, or even just hundreds of people at a club. So, I have never heard a female like with such confidence rock on the mic like you. And then on top of that, the turntablism and the skills are actually on with the music. The DJ skills didn't suffer because you're just so focused on the mic too as well. Right. So when I first heard you at Such Lounge, is it Sh Lounge or Such Lounge? I've always
honestly
had a debate.
That's like so up for debate, because I call it Shush Lounge, and then there's others that are like Shh. Like, so
yeah, right.
I think it's whatever you want.
Well, when I saw you there, it was like a ladies' night on Tuesday, and I was just at the bar chilling, and I wasn't even looking back, so I didn't know who was spinning or anything like that. And I just heard the mixing going crazy. I was like, I could definitely feel a good shift in the room, and a different type of energy just from how you were DJing and everything. So that's when I definitely started paying attention. Going into a gig, what is your thought process? What is are you making a crate before the gig, or you say, okay, well, this is the Models and Bottles crowd, so I'm gonna stick with this, or this is more of like a Windward crowd, I'm gonna go with this. Like, what is your preparation before you go into a gig, P?
That's a good question. It varies. It varies. So I'm always at home downloading music, like on my computer, like, because the more organized and prepared you are, the better you just go into the set and you do what you do. But before, I like to just hold on. Let me get my dog because he's crying.
It's all good.
Jam, come here. Do you hear him? He's like, "Oh, my mom's
yeah.
back to me."
I thought you had some tea on the stove or something going on.
Yo, this man is a big dog, and he was just just a big baby, so
Yeah.
whatever. So what I do is I just, you know, I download whatever I got to download based on whatever gig it is. And I organize my crates like crazy. If any DJs are on the check-in right now, the best thing you can do is be as organized as possible and specific with your crates as possible. So that's just what I try to do. I just try to, you know, as far as like how I organize my crates is like, all right, I have a hip hop crate, and then I'm like 2020 first quarter hot, you know, and then I'm putting like all the hot records, and then like mid 2020, like records that are like, you know, like I'm that specific. So that's just what I'm doing. I'm organizing my crates. And then on the ride to work, I am listening to jazz. I'm listening to neo soul, just something that's so opposite of from what I'm about to go into. Cause I just like to like take a deep breath and be like, all right, now we're gonna go and rock out, you know? Like I don't wanna like overdrive my brain with the same music. So
What about on the ride home from work and you're not stopping at Space or the corner or 11? You're going straight home. What
I
are you
usually
listening
don't
to?
go to any of those places. Surprisingly, I'm a homebody. Like if I'm not at
Okay,
work, I go the fuck home.
I got you.
So all right. So there's sometimes where I just want silence. Like if I
Right.
had like, there's days where like I'll have 3 gigs a day, and my ears are like, that's it. I just want to hear the road.
Right.
I appreciate it. Or sometimes I sit in my car and I just listen to the silence and my ear ringing. Like your ear still ringing. And I sit and just listen to silence. So that's one. But if not, I'm an old head. Like anything, you know, like Earth, Wind and Fire said before, Frankie Beverly Maze. Damn, I don't know, just something funky, old, feel good. That's definitely what I'm listening to on the ride home. Just not, I can't do Lil Baby after I just got, you know.
Yeah. I think that's a common misconception that a lot of people, non-DJs, have of DJs, is that we just like constantly listening to music all the time and, you know, just want to hear music all the time. Like I love silence. I love talk radio. I love listening to like an interview or something like that when I'm not in the club or getting ready for the club. So
well, you also as a DJ, you don't want to like not love it anymore. Like you don't want to like grow sick of it, you know, like if you're listening to it like all the fucking time. And then DJ, it's just like I don't want to lose the love for it.
No, that's definitely true. You know, you gotta control the amount and be responsible with that too, just so you have an appreciation of it when you go out. So let's go back to, okay, so you're up in Florida State, you're up in Tallahassee. When do you actually come down to, well, you went back up to Tallahassee for college, right?
Yep.
Okay, so when you came back after college, what was your DJing relationship in Miami like? Did you go straight to the clubs? Did you do anything? Did you try to get back into basketball? What happened?
So I graduated and my parents were like, all right, so I tried to drop out of college 3 times to go to SAE and just go to audio engineering school and like, you know, pursue music full time. And my parents were like, I don't give a fuck if you become a stripper when you graduate, just graduate. That's all we want. You know, so my promise to them was that, and I did that. And then they were just pressuring me like, go get a job. Like, what are you doing? Like you went, so in college, I went to New York and I interned. All this crazy shit. They were like, you did the corporate life, like go to corporate and be, you know, have something for sure. And my mom, like, she's into her corporate world. She does, she's a media buyer for a Hispanic marketing agency. And so she didn't understand, like, you want to pursue music, you don't sing, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I never heard you play an instrument, what are you trying to do? Like, she just didn't have that, you know, like, understanding.
Right.
So when I graduated, I just had that pressure. I moved in with my mom's, and I just had that pressure of like, you know, you need to figure out your life, and if DJing comes, it'll come with it. And you know, I worked so many jobs. I was a bartender, a server. I was a bartender at 2 places, a server, and I had a job with Coast to Coast Mixtapes. I was an event coordinator and PR over there at Coast to Coast Mixtapes, and I had one other fucking job at one point. I had 5 jobs at one point trying to figure out life.
Yeah.
And doing all that, making all that money, hustling. That was like a year and a half into being back home. And I just was so unhappy. And working at Coast to Coast Mixtapes, you're working with artists, you know, you're working with other DJs. You're just, you know, and you're doing industry shit. And I was seeing all these people pursue their passions, and I was just there getting paid to just be there. You know what I mean? And like, it was uncomfortable, and I hated the thought of being paid to make someone else rich. Jesus Christ, champ. I hated the thought of being paid somewhere to make someone else rich. My bad.
It's all good.
So, sorry, this shit just threw me off. Anyway, so yeah, I just grew like a super distaste for like the 9-to-5 life, and I was like, you know what? I'm doing this DJ shit 1000%.
Gotcha.
Champ, get over here. If you're gonna cry in this interview, I'm gonna beat you up today.
Don't worry, we're gonna interview Champ next, all right?
But yeah, so then I quit my job. I was like, you know, fuck this. Oh wait, hold on, I left out a big thing. In Coast to Coast while I was there, this is 2016 still. I met a girl named Tiffany Miranda who owned a nonprofit called Girls Make Beats. And yo, when I tell you I thought I met Jesus, do you know what it is to meet another female producer? Like, it's crazy. So her and I linked, and then I got instantly involved with Girls Make Beats. And that was like my passion, like, oh my God, like helping young girls pursue, you know, something that's like foreign. Like, little girls don't wake up like, Mom, I want to be a DJ when I grow up. You know, it was cool to like introduce that career path onto young girls. So I did that for a year, and then Girls Make Beats moved over to LA, and I was like, you know what? When I go back into teaching young girls, which I am, that's like 5-year plan. I'm gonna mentor and for sure have my own little DJ school for girls. When I do go back to that, I want these girls to be like, my teacher is DJ PeeWee. I didn't want it to be like, oh, my teacher is this young girl who's just learning how to DJ. I want it to be like, yo, PeeWee made her dreams come true, and so can I. You know? So that made me go super hard, and I was like, fuck this. I'm DJing 1000%, so I could go back to that.
No doubt. That's a real great nonprofit, because I mean, like you said, what if you had that option when you were coming up to see someone that looks like you, or you know, another woman just like you as a little girl?
I never ever met anyone like Tiffany. And mind you, Tiffany Miranda is a Puerto Rican girl with curly hair.
Right.
I was like, what the? Some of you may not know me, but like, I have curly hair. I'm Puerto Rican, Colombian. Like, that shit was like I said, I thought I met Jesus.
Right. That's dope.
So refreshing. Shout out to her. Shout out to Girls Make Beats, because that's really why I'm like, I go so hard with this DJing for sure.
That's beautiful. If you're just now coming into the live, we are talking with DJ PeeWee out of Miami, Florida. You know, even though it doesn't look like she's in quarantine right now, she looks like she's ready to step out, and she's been going out and everything.
Listen,
like that.
Any excuse to just get cute, I'm taking it.
No, I'm definitely with you on that. Getting on these lives is like, okay, you feel like you're about to go out or something like that. You know what I mean?
Listen, I've had the same hairstyle since I was 5, so any reason to change it up and put a little wig on,
no doubt. So if you have any questions, if you're watching, DJs or non-DJs, if you have any questions for PeeWee while she's here, section, and if you are a little bit late to the interview, this will be up on YouTube, on our No Request TV YouTube page too as well. And you definitely watch that. Make sure you subscribe to that too as well. So getting into the Miami scene, DJing wise, what was the first gig that you remember really doing and like, okay, I'm actually in this. I'm actually part of this right now. What was that first gig?
That's a great question. I would say Bay Worldwide. So I did an event called Bay Worldwide. It's a pop-up event. So Bay Worldwide is like an all-girl collective, DJ collective, and they're got girl DJs from fucking Tokyo. Like, they're based in Atlanta, and have girl DJs everywhere. So they do like their little pop-up events in the city. So Miami was one of their pop-up events, and they did Koyo. And I did that, and I had some of my friends pop out, which was such a hard thing for me when I first started DJing. I would like ask all my friends to like come support me, and sometimes people around you just aren't believers until you make them believers. They weren't believers yet. And whatever, it's cool. So they came out support, they were dancing, and everybody's rocking. I remember being like, okay, I think I'm a DJ now for real. Yeah, so that's definitely that gig for sure.
That's what's
And
up.
Payphone, I see you on the check-in. Thank you.
Yes.
I see you guys. You guys are being so nice.
Shout out to everybody. Shout out to DJ E Class out of ATL, and shout out to Bay Worldwide too, Dakota and all them up there.
Yeah,
Very,
also, hell yeah.
also, much condolences to Oso lost her father last week. So our
Oh my goodness, I
condolences
heard
to
about that. Yes, big
yeah,
up to Oso. This whole Corona shit's crazy, man.
exactly. So moving from finally getting your feet wet in the Miami scene and doing Wynwood and Coyo and things like that to expanding to doing bigger clubs and getting on South Beach and Cameo and Live and all that type of stuff. What was that transition like for you?
Um, it was, damn. I feel like that was a little bit of a struggle because
Talk
I had
about
to
it.
find identity, right? And I
Right.
feel like Miami is a place that, like, when you latch onto South Beach, you're latching onto an identity. If you're a Wynwood DJ, you're gonna be that identity, you know. So I was in that process of figuring out what I wanted, and I want to be a big club DJ. And through that, before that happened, I went on tour with Run the Jewels and Cuz Lightyear.
Shout out Trackstar.
Yes, Trackstar, my
Yeah.
dog. So I went on tour with them, and I had to learn that mic game because I just, like, Cuz Lightyear, when I was DJ for him, it was very clear, like, you're not going to just be a cute little girl in the back. You're going to be interactive DJ, you know? So I'd be in the shower practicing my mic game, like, yay! So I had that experience, and I knew from that, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go to the clubs now, like the big clubs.
Right.
And coming back, linked with DJ Live. DJ Live had me open for him for a couple spots. I did Ivy, opened Ivy. I did Studio 23. I was just, opening and showing the clubs that I wasn't just a cute face. I'm gonna do this shit, you know what I mean? And it worked. It's like word travels. Like, okay, like we have a girl DJ that knows how to open, and she talks on the mic. Bring her in, you know? So I think that's why a lot of girls don't get booked in big clubs, or if they do, they have big followings and they make them only open when the club's not really popping, because a lot of girls don't know how to DJ, one, for high volume places, and for two, they don't know how to use a mic, and a mic is energy. Maybe not in house music settings, but in hip hop, listen, the music is so low frequency that when there's not something balancing it, as far as like a mic, it's dead energy. So that's how I transitioned. I was opening, and then boom, now I am where I am now.
When you talked earlier about getting into production, we said we're going to touch on the challenges you had as a female, getting bad energy from certain people in the studio. Did you have to deal with a lot of those same struggles transitioning into DJing, especially getting into the South Beach big clubs, big nightclub scene?
Surprisingly, no. Like, it's like a different respect. Also, too, like, the settings are different. Like, with production, you're in the studio alone. It's like a very vulnerable place. Whereas I'm in a club. There's, the bottle girls are there, the waitress. I usually, every club I work at, I get really cool with them. Not on purpose, just, like, genuinely get really cool with, the staff. So, I mean, people don't really get weird with me, like, ever. I've had other DJs that, like, try to shoot their shot, but rarely, like, it's a different respect, and it's a different setting, and that's why I really love DJing too. Like, that was another thing that made me grow such an appreciation, because, like, I feel like the DJ world, one, the DJs all respect each other, girl, guy. If you take the craft serious, if you respect the culture, guys, girls, whoever fuck with you.
Right.
And two, I think that the same thing with the club, and also, like, clubs are very transactional. Like, if you bring what we need to the club, then we want you around. They're not gonna ruin that relationship,
Definitely. I saw a post. This is honestly what kind of made me want to find out more about your story, where you talked about having to hide your sexy because you didn't want that to overshadow your talent. Talk about that struggle as far as, masking your sexy, as you say, or
right.
owning my allure. That was the hashtag that you used. Talk about that.
So when I first got into the game,
yeah,
I was taking all these, like, bikini pics and doing the most. And I was seeing how no one was really receptive to that. People were receptive to the content I was putting that was genuine, that didn't involve any of that. Like I put a post once of me making a beat, and that shit had way more likes than the bikini pic, you know? And I was like, damn. And I started growing like this anxiety, like, damn, I don't want people to book me, because I started seeing how other girl DJs were being perceived.
Right.
And what people were saying about them, like, she just looks good, but she can't DJ for shit. Like, I never wanted anyone to say that about me, you know?
Right.
So I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prioritize my craft, and I'm going to purposely dress a certain way so people can see me for that first. So I was a year and a half of me DJing, like, you know, I wouldn't go to the club with my makeup done or heel. I'll go with sneakers, some dirty ass Vans.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really like, people are gonna focus on the work, you know? And then when I started seeing people be receptive to that, then I was like, you know, I had friends of mine that are like, all right, now you gotta, you know, step it up. Now become a brand. Now take that and become a package. So I would, you know, go to the clubs with the heels and all that, but I was still careful, and I tiptoed with being too sexy, or I didn't want to be perceived as a sex symbol. I wanted to be DJ PeeWee is a good DJ, and if people think I'm attractive, then that's the cherry on top. So now I'm in a place where I feel like I'm so confident in me, and I've grown such a love of me, and not even just from DJing, just so much self-growth. I'm just so confident that now I don't care. Like, I'm gonna feel sexy any way I want to. If I want to wear a fucking wig today, I'm gonna wear a wig, and I don't care what anybody thinks. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
But that took time, and I also think like that was the way to do it too, because I didn't want to introduce myself to the world as a sex symbol.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I derived from.
That's great right there. Definitely, definitely a great answer right there.
Thank you.
With you, let's see here. So, you know, of course, being in Miami, we had the Super Bowl just a couple of months ago, and you were definitely booked and busy.
Woo! Shout out to the Super Bowl. It kept me afloat for this Corona. Oh.
Yeah, no doubt. So you were definitely booked and busy for Super Bowl. What was your most memorable moment or most memorable gig during that Super Bowl week in Miami?
Every gig was memorable for me. Every gig was it meant something to me. You know, I worked with big brands that I dreamed about, like Steve Madden. I'm doing a live stream with Steve Madden next Friday, so spoiler alert for anybody in the live stream. So, you know, I got to work with Steve Madden. I got to work with one of my favorite brands, Nike, a few times. I worked with the Players Wives Association. So I got to meet, you know, a lot of women within the NFL and just gain a different perspective, because, you know, all we see is the athletes, but we don't see the families and everything that goes behind it. So every event for the most part was really, really, really memorable. And I went out a lot that weekend. I was spacey that weekend. I never go out. After work, like I said, I go home, and my ass was all over the place. The Super Bowl weekend was a shit.
So are you enjoying quarantine since you are a homebody? Are you liking this?
At first I wasn't. Now I am. Champ, come here. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. Champ, come here. I do enjoy it. My dog enjoys it. That's why he's crying all the time. He's like, my mom's not showing me attention.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, it's great because for me, because I feel like my brain was always on 1,000 miles per hour. Like, it was just always going like, okay, I have this, I have that, I have to be at a gig. And mind you, for us girl DJs, it's not like we just take a shower, get out the house, and go. Like, aside from preparing our music and preparing, you know, what we're gonna do at the gig, we have to do our makeup, get our outfit, your nails gotta be done. I mean, for me, at least. That's just how I am. Like, my nails are not done now because we're in quarantine, but shit, I don't even know. My train of thought just got lost with this little boy crying. Oh, with quarantine. Am I happy? Yes. I feel like I've been in my thoughts more. I've been more present. I've been learning myself more. And just preparing for what's to come out of this. Like, now I have direction as to, you know, what I want to do, what I want to be when this is all over, and I'm coming out strong and I'm happy. And that all derives from having the time to focus on me, on my mental health, on just, you know, everything, grounding myself and or centering myself. So
That's dope.
I love it.
So speaking of post-corona or post-lockdown, at least,
Mm-hmm.
you know, of course, if you're just joining us, we're here live in Miami with DJ PeeWee, from the 305, and of course, we're all dealing nationwide, worldwide with coronavirus. But Miami's a little bit different because a lot of the commerce down here is all based off of hospitality, clubs, restaurants,
Right.
a lot of the stuff that isn't essential, so to speak.
Right.
And a lot of people are out of work. If you're a DJ and you're not doing any lives, you're out of work right now.
Right.
So especially coming from your background, you are, you know, 8 gigs a week, you know what I mean? And, or, you know, 8 nights a week and always working. What do you see the future of DJing, especially here in Miami, post lockdown? Do you think the clubs are going to be able to get back to where they were? Do you think things are going to change? What do you think?
It's going to change for sure. It's going to change. I'm scared of the change because I hope that with that change, like for the clubs that don't stop or don't shut down, you know, I think a lot of clubs are going to have to rebudget because their year expense just got cut exponentially. So,
Right.
you know, what scares me with change is I hope that the budgeting for the DJs don't change because the budgeting for a DJ already is trash. You know,
Mm-hmm.
clubs make X amount, buku dollars of the night, and we don't even get 10% of that, you know?
Right.
So I'm just praying, hoping, wishing that, you know, our rates don't get affected, but I kind of see that happening. Jimmy Snacks, what's up? I see you. But yeah, so that's one thing that I'm scared of, but I hope that doesn't change. But I think also too, there may be more of like, right.
Okay, that is a big dog right there.
Champ, come
Damn.
here. Now he don't want to sound like a little bitch. He was just crying just like, he's like, let me show him more balls. But
Exactly.
anyway,
Gee.
come here. Come here. Okay, next interview, I'm going to take him to the dog sitter. Period. Period. So one thing I do think too is that I think a lot of brands are gonna take what's going on right now with like the virtual DJing thing and like having a virtual presence, and I think that's gonna be a new way of you know, income.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Travis Scott thing yesterday on Fortnite? The most
Yeah,
famous
Fortnite.
shit I've
Mm-hmm.
ever seen in my life. Like if that's not the new wave, I don't know what is. So
Right.
not to say that I don't think, you know, we're gonna still have clubs, but I think we're gonna have more virtual presence.
Definitely. And I feel like that would just be honestly a way for DJs just to get, you know, straight to the consumer instead of having this block off between, you know, the promoters and everything like that. I think this is a great time if you're a DJ to start building. If you weren't focused on building your brand prior,
Right.
this is a great way to figure out what your fans want. It's been great for me just DJing on live and people, you know, just from touring all over, you don't really get to connect with a lot of people outside of the show.
Right.
And for me to be able to get on live and, oh, I saw you in Texas, so I saw you in Australia, whatever the case may be, and they're able to connect, you
Right.
know, and then it's all on you what you do with that energy. If you have something to sell, if you have a t-shirt line, if you have whatever brand that you want to be working that you want to be promoting or other brands or whatever the case may be, you know, this is just a great opportunity for DJs to really, you know, boss up and take control out of this because the clubs, you know, they're not going to be opening anytime soon. I can
Nah.
definitely guarantee that.
Nah. There's rumors of February 21 being the earliest, another being June, the beginning of June, which I don't see happening at all.
No.
I just hope we open by my birthday, which is December 29th. So
Yeah, that actually probably is probably a little bit more
I'm just
feasible.
saying. That's all I
Yeah,
care about. As long as we
exactly.
open by then.
That's a good birthday. So, how do you usually celebrate your birthday with it being so close to New Year's and right after Christmas and everything? How's that?
So I mean, it's complicated. It depends what day it lands on because if my birthday lands on, let's say like a Sunday. Well, this last year was a Sunday, and New Year's is Tuesday. People are
Mm-hmm.
typically like, I don't really want to go out because I'm preparing for that Tuesday to go out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get any presents like that. People hit me with, "This is your birthday and Christmas present."
Whatever's left over.
Right, right.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's cool. I mean, most people are home for the holidays, so they turn up with me. Um, but yeah, that's my New Year's. For me, my birthday is New Year's because I work New Year's every year. So,
definitely. Period, Miami.
hey, period Miami, my squad.
What is it? Give
so,
people a rundown what Period Miami is.
So, Period Miami is a nonprofit, just shining light and normalizing the concept of a period. I feel like that's such a taboo subject, and a lot of women don't know how to have their period in the most hygiene way. So we introduce those concepts. We give support to homeless women. A lot of people don't think about this, but homeless women get their periods too. And what do? They just bleed on themselves, or they have to put a cloth, and they just do things that are just, it's not the best option. So we help them. We're working on jail initiatives. A lot of women in jail and prisons, they don't have menstrual support. So we help with that. And yeah, just normalizing the damn period, because we all, I mean, women, we get it.
No, some dudes get their period too. Trust me, they
I
definitely
know
get
a
on.
couple. I didn't want to say it. I know a couple.
Oh, they definitely do. Trust me. So I also saw that you have some live events also coming up with Period Miami as well.
Yep.
Is that something that people should be on the lookout for next month?
Yes. We don't have a locked in date yet because we want to do it via. So Period Miami is just a branch of Period Worldwide. So there's a whole Period movement. So we're just the Miami branch. So I would be doing it via the Period movement. So we're just trying to lock that in now. But that should be soon. That should be real soon. So y'all keep it locked.
So this is actually one of my first questions. I skipped over it on accident. What is the origin of your name, DJ PeeWee? What is the origin?
Good question. Most people ask, "Is that your real name?" And I want to punch them in the face. So my real name is Jessie. And like I said before, I played basketball and softball my whole life. And I always played for older teams. Like I was usually the youngest person on my team. And I was really tiny growing up. So now I'm 5'5", but for a long time I was 4'11".
Wow.
And so sorry. So what's it called? I was always tiny and I was always really annoying. Like I'm so calm now as an adult, but like from a toddler to like 16 years old, annoying. Like I wouldn't listen to anybody. I would always do my thing. Like I'll just fuck around, like a very rebellious little kid. So a coach of mine, I was the youngest on my team at the time. I was 13 and I was playing with like 16, 17-year-olds. And we're in practice doing the drills, and I was just fucking around as I usually do. And she would call me every name in the book. She was this really country lady named Miss McGee. And she would call me every name in the book. And I was like, still fuck around and be stupid. But this one day, she was like, "You little PeeWee." And I was like, "PeeWee? Fuck out of here." Like, but I guess it was like Napoleon syndrome too, because I was always tiny and young. That like she called me out on myself. So I was like, PeeWee. And then she just used that against me. Like it was like, "Oh, we're gonna call her PeeWee because that actually gets her mad." And then I was new to my school. I just moved from Jersey to Florida. So people are hearing my teammates call me PeeWee. So they're like, "Okay, this girl's name's PeeWee." And it's a name that I try to run from all my life. Like I got that name and I never wanted it. I introduced myself as Jessie to people and people still call me PeeWee. I've switched schools. I've gone to AAU camps. I've gone to Boys and Girls Club. I literally have escaped this name. Like, all right, here I'm not going to be PeeWee. And somehow, some way, someone finds out that's my name and everybody calls me it. I tried to retire the name in college. I was like, I'm going to Tallahassee FSU. There's no way PeeWee is coming with me. And I went out there and one person from back home was like, PeeWee! And you know what? That's when I was like, fuck it. This is my name. So...
That's a true nickname right there. You can't shake it. You know, a lot of people like to choose their nickname. It doesn't work like that. People got to choose their nickname for you. That's a true nickname right there.
I never wanted. I mean, come on. Like, I feel like PeeWee sounds really unattractive. Like,
When I
that's
first
not
heard
a
it,
cute nickname. You think
when I
it's a
first,
guy,
yeah, PeeWee Reese, you know, who played with Jackie Robinson back
right?
in the day, if you're familiar with baseball or anything like that. But going back to your basketball roots, you've been watching this Jordan documentary, right? The Last Dance. I know you've been watching that.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on it? Did you even watch Jordan playing growing up, or was he a little bit after your time?
I actually met him before. I
Wow.
went to his basketball camp one year. So that's fucking legendary. But I never saw him play. I
Mm-hmm.
wish. It's like anybody that's seen him play, I instantly envy you. But I thought the documentary was so fire, and like it didn't really surprise me. I feel like it surprised a lot of people about like, wow, like Jordan was this hardworking. Like, what the fuck did you expect? He's the greatest. Like, that's the GOAT, you know? And like just seeing Jack, come, he's drinking his water over there, man.
I can hear him.
He's going crazy, man. He's fucking it up. All right, as long as you know he's drinking water and anything.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Right.
That's after the interview. You can do that. He can be himself after the interview.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, with the Jordan thing, it's just inspiring, and it's just very cliche. It shows that hard work, you know, beats all. So,
Definitely.
it's inspiring and motivating, and made me ready to just. I think the documentary was like perfect timing too, because it's like, all right, let's get out this laziness, this funk, and like no matter what circumstances we're given, we still got to do what we got to do. So.
Exactly. That's definitely a great analogy right there. Any Netflix recommendations for the viewers? We got about 121 people, 112 people watching right now. Give them some Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime recommendations. What is PeeWee watching right now?
Honestly, I'm not a movie person. My ADD is crazy. I like things that are like more of a series than like a movie. I just like instantly check out after like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But damn, I started watching Black as Fuck. That's really good.
Okay.
That's really, really, really good. Love is Blind. I'm such a romantic person. I come off like very like, I guess people perceive me as like cold, but really I'm so romantic and mushy and just corny. So like love stuff gets to me. So yeah,
That'll do it.
Those are my recs.
That'll do it. I definitely want to check out Black as Fuck. We actually interviewed DJ Charlie Rose yesterday, and that's what she said she's watching too. So I'm hearing a lot about it. Yeah, we have some people in the comments. Someone said what part of
documentary on Netflix.
A Nicky Jam doc. Someone said what part of New Jersey? He was from North Plainfield. And I'm from Plainfield, so this is a little Plainfield connection right here.
A Capricorn gang.
Ariel said I need y'all two to do a set together when we're allowed back outside.
You already know. Listen, that one day at Shush, did you not see me dancing?
Oh no, I saw you. It was about the end of the night, and you blasted in there, just Dance Fever, and I was like, okay, shit, PeeWee's in here. I gotta get cracking.
Hell no. We got Ratchet on the line.
Exactly. Hey, that's what happens when you watch Nova Quest TV. You never know. We are live right here for y'all, right here.
Right. Nah, but that night was funny because my cousin was in town, right? And he comes to visit me from PA. And every time I'm with my cousin, let me get my shit right real quick.
Yeah.
Looking like I just got in a fight. Every time my cousin comes, him and I just party. He's my brother, man. Like, I love him so much. And I usually don't go out like that, like I said. So when he comes, like, it's celebratory, you know? So I was like, look, let me show you Shush before we go to the whatever other clubs. And we ended up staying there. Like, it was him and I. It was the end of the night, like you said. It was popping that night, but it was like, you know, close to 4 o'clock. And him and I danced like little kids. I was like, yo, he is killing it right now. Like, you did your thing. And I was fucking it up on the dance floor. Like, people were staring at me like, what's wrong with her? But
no, fuck that. Listen, at that point, I was just in my like R&B, like early 2000s R&B bag. I played that Justin Timberlake "Take a Ride," and I was like, let me see what this does right now at 3 a.m. And you ran up to me. I was like, all right, cool. I fucking peace.
Look, that was the perfect vibe. That was the perfect vibe. Like, when you played that, I was like, he official. Like, you took me there.
That was a really great night. Yeah. So Ariel, to answer your question, that will be coming a set from
ASAP.
P and DBS. It will be coming soon, whether it's in person or on the live or whatever the case may be. We'll definitely make that happen.
ASAP.
For everyone that's viewing right now, if you're just now coming in late to the live, this interview, the full interview, will be on No Request TV YouTube page. So be on the look under that. Please subscribe, comment. No Request TV is meant to give DJs a voice. So out of the times where the source of a lot of people's entertainment and great nights and great memories, but you know, we are people too as well. And you know, this platform isn't just to ask DJ questions; it's about to ask about who you are as a person. And
Right.
we found out a lot tonight or today from DJ PeeWee.
Yeah,
And
you guys never hear me talk.
exactly. Not like this. We definitely hear you on the mic, but not like this. You know what I mean? So we definitely appreciate you coming to sit down, taking some time out your quarantine day
Thank you
with
for
No
having me.
Request TV. Definitely, if you have anything you want to say for the people where they can check you out, if you have any lives coming up or anything like that.
Yeah, so I actually just dropped an Apple playlist. It'll be available on Spotify tonight. So in my quarantine time, oh, this is Champ, by the way.
That's him.
So in my time throughout this quarantine, I've been making a bunch of playlists, and it's been so fun for me. Like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with it. So I'll be dropping more throughout. But yeah, I just dropped one today. It's called Kickback. It's like, you know, a chill. You're going to chill with a bae. You know, throw that on, smoke one, a little roll one up, you feel me? So that is available. I'm going to maybe, oh no, you have yours pinned, never mind. But you guys can check me out at PXWeezy, pxweezy.com to stay updated with everything. I have some live stream announcements. I already spoiled it, but yeah.
Let them know. Let them know. Let them know the big one that you spoiled earlier. What's coming up?
So I'm going to be live streaming via Steve Madden. It's lit.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for that. And yeah, just keep it locked with me. Follow me.
Definitely. We thank you, PeeWee, for definitely pulling up. And Champ, that's the dog's name?
Yep, Champ. Thank you for ruining it, but...
You know what? It makes me want to watch The Sandlot. You ever seen the movie The Sandlot, right?
Yes, everyone says
that. I think I'm gonna watch The Sandlot after this,
right?
and enjoy my quarantine day. But if you're ever in Miami, or if you ever see PeeWee's name on a flyer in your town, definitely pull up. You're gonna have a great time. She's like I said, she's not a great female DJ. She's just a great DJ. Period. And that's why she's on No Request TV today. So definitely thank you once again for pulling up, and we're gonna check in with you soon. Okay.
Alrighty, stay safe. Everybody stay positive. Shit's out of our control, but the only thing you're in control of is yourself, your emotions. So stay happy.
That's right. Stay happy, everybody. We'll check you out soon, all right?
Alrighty. Bye. Thank you for having me.
No doubt.